I just want to thank everybody here for joining us. I know it's been a few days, but I, along with the players and staff, would like to tell you how excited we are to be back in the building to continue our prep for Buffalo. We'd also like to thank the NFL and the NFL Players Association for their ongoing review of our COVID-19 situation and for also helping us get back into our building safely. Our players' health and safety will always be a priority, and they've assisted us in making sure that happens. We're really excited to continue our prep for Buffalo, and that would love to take some questions from you, Teresa.
Mike, at this point, being back in the building, how confident are you that the outbreak has been contained at this point?
Well, that's what they've done. That's what the NFL and the NFL Players Association and the doctors on both sides have made sure, and that's why we passed through the testing cadence. And again, our players went through the PCR and the POC test again today before they could come in. They're in the process of coming back into the building. We're going to be working under some enhanced protocols for the time being, which we shared with the players this morning in our Zoom meeting.
Jim?
Mike, where are you from a preparation standpoint? What have you been able to do during the course of this week to get ready for the game? And what does the practice week look like as you try to maybe ramp things up?
Well, I think that the guys have tried to stay engaged in those meetings via Zoom. I think our coaches continue to do a great job of coaching. We've tried to install a lot of stuff, or at least present a lot of stuff through film. We'll have an opportunity to move around a little bit today. Unfortunately, we'll be in the bubble due to the weather, but move around a little bit just on an individual basis to try to recreate some of those specific movements that they'll need for to do their job, and then also walk through. Spend a bunch of time walking through, probably first, second, and third down today. We'll try to work with some speed tomorrow in all phases, in all situations, and then have our normal day before the game walk through Monday.
Teron?
Yeah, Coach, in regards to last week, was there a specific time or date rather when you let the players know that they weren't able to have any in-person activities outside the building?
So with all questions that are going to relate to the review, we've been completely transparent with the NFL, with the NFLPA during this entire process, and we're going to wait for their summary before commenting further on any of those discussions.
Thank you.
Terry?
Mike, is there any chance to get some of the guys back that maybe were early in the protocol the first couple of days and have them at least somewhat available for Tuesday night?
I would say hopefully, Terry. I would say hopefully that, again, we want to make sure that they are going through the protocol, the cardiovascular screening before doing that. So that's going to be something that we're going to have to look at, and that'll start today for a few of those players. So I'll try to keep you up to date on where we're at, but those will probably go into Monday potentially.
Kayla?
Hey, Coach, good to see you. I know
Hi,
there's
Kayla.
always I know there's always a risk when you get out there on the field, Coach, but being away from the facility, not in an organized team practice in over a week now, how much are you concerned about the injury side of things, and is there anything you can do to help that here in the next couple of days?
Maybe evaluate them today, tomorrow. It's going to be critical how we structure the practice. Talk to Todd, I've talked to Frank. So we'll introduce some of those movements today. I'm sure some of those guys have been doing some stuff by themselves. But that's what we'll go out there and try to do today a little bit, and then see where we are tomorrow and structure practice accordingly. I think that it will be important to have some speed element, but then in order to get more plays run and see more plays defensively and on special teams, you have to then go back to a jog through. So you can get some speed in there, and then obviously probably to pull back at the back part of practice. We'll see kind of where we are there, but you can get more reps in, by going through the jog through.
Eric?
Hey, Mike, just wanted to ask about the long snapping situation. Last time we spoke with you, you said you guys were working through it. We're confident that the league would allow you to get somebody in. Have you made progress there? Are you still confident that you'll be able to get somebody in, for Tuesday's game?
We do have a few players going through the testing protocol. And to Terry's question, Bo is one of those players that could potentially work his way through the protocol. So I think that we're trying to look at both of those possibilities. But we do have players that are going through the testing protocol now. If Bo, if the doctors say that he's, doesn't pass through the protocol.
Luke?
Mike, a couple of the guys that have been out for a while, AJ and Adoree. Adoree hasn't been on these estimated reports that we've seen, but I guess he's on IR. Where are they right now? And do you even know, not having practiced?
Adoree, like you mentioned, is still on IR, so that would make him unavailable for the game, and not available for practice. AJ continues to get treatment, and then we'll be able to identify him and see where he's at today and tomorrow.
John?
Mike, just in general, I know you've sort of touched on it here, but the biggest challenges of trying to get a team ready for a game in, 3 days after not working really for 2 weeks.
That's our job. That's all of our jobs. I mentioned to the team this morning that, yes, we are excited to be back in the building, but that's not what we do. Our jobs aren't to come back in here and be excited about a return. It's about being excited about returning, but also putting everything into the preparation that we possibly can in order to be in a position to win the football game. So that's what our focus is on, is about getting back in here and using the time allotted, which today will be this afternoon. And then, the players will be back out. We'll be back in here tomorrow, and then continue our on-field preparation as well as our Zoom meetings.
Thanks. Chris Harris?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Great, Chris.
Good. I was just wondering how you feel about how your team and the organization may be perceived by others around the league, given everything that's gone on with the COVID situation for the last 10 days.
Well, I think that there's a lot to perception and perspective and the view that we take on things. I can only focus on this football team, making sure that these guys are doing everything they can to put the team first, to care about one another. And that's really, truly the only way that you can, work through any type of situation. And this is just the next one that's been presented to us. I love the leadership. I think these guys are excited as soon as I finish here to be able to see these guys get put jerseys on and start to transition out into the bubble to start the walkthrough. And that's all I can focus on is our football team, our organization, our owner, our general manager, and our fans.
David Beauclair?
Mike, what did Buffalo do particularly well against you guys the last 2 years that you're going to have to handle better this time?
Been 2 tough games, tight games. A lot of respect for Sean and his staff and how they coach and the effort in which their team plays with. Defensively, they've kept us out of the end zone. That's what they've done. They forced us to attempt a bunch of field goals, which, we weren't very successful at. But they've played great in the red zone. And I would say offensively, to end both of those games, they've taken the ball and they've driven it to kick a game-winning field goal, and they've taken 4 or 5 minutes off the clock last year by converting first downs. And so that's a testament to them. I always show our team those situations where they methodically took the ball down and kicked a field goal. We couldn't stop them. We knew it was 4-down territory. And then last year, they ended the ball with it in their hands and knelt on it. And we never got an opportunity to go back down and try to win the game. So situationally, very strong. And obviously, when you play with a lot of great effort like they do, and you can handle those situations and you thrive in those situations like they've done against us, that's a good combination for winning.
Paul?
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Paul.
You say you'll wait for their summary to comment. Do you have a sense of when you will get their summary? And would you like for them to wait to comment as these drips and drabs come out about their investigation? As you wait, should they wait?
Again, our transparency, we've made every coach and a player available just to give you, a little background. They've spoken, the league and the Players Association has spoken to every coach and every player. And we're very confident in the way that we've handled that. So I don't have, it doesn't concern me when they release that, but we haven't gotten anything official. We've been in constant communication with them regarding our ability to get back to the building. And that's what's been most pressing for John and I, is that we continue to find ways to get our players back here and our staff back here, and get them back to work and focus on their health and safety.
What's it like to read details outside of the summary?
That's been one thing I've been pretty good with, is just trying to stay within what we've done here and focused on Buffalo and not focused on what's happening out and around us.
Buck?
Yeah, Mike, I guess outside of availability, how is everybody doing that's tested positive, whether asymptomatic or symptomatic?
Yep, Buck, I appreciate you asking. They're disappointed. They're disappointed. I think that they're feeling okay. I think everybody is doing well. And, there's been a wide range of, level of symptoms, but, they want to help this team. They want to help the team. And that's probably the biggest thing that I've taken away from this, is that they will, they'll be back, and they'll be, whenever they pass the protocol, then we'll get them back to work and see where they can help the team. But I appreciate you asking. They're all doing well. And, I think that this has all been, somewhat of a trying situation for the families involved and keeping everybody healthy.
And I don't know whether this follows under the same umbrella as waiting for the league summary, but you mentioned that in helping you guys reopen, they've come in and showed you guys how to enhance the protocols. Is there anything specifically that they've had you guys focus on, or does that follow under the same umbrella?
No, I think that those enhanced protocols include the Zoom meetings, like we mentioned, or a meeting that would take place in our bubble. We've taken it upon ourselves to move 30 lockers out into the bubble to then space out those other lockers. They're going to grab and go meals, the POC test to enter into the building. Those are all things. And then obviously making sure that, where everybody's, wearing our masks, and when coaches meet, we'll meet out in the bubble as well. Whether that's any in-person meetings will take place in the bubble.
Emily?
Coach, how much are you kind of preaching to your guys that this is an opportunity for some guys that don't normally get a lot of playing time to really prove themselves, especially with no preseason games?
All the time, Emily. You know, those opportunities come in different shapes and sizes. They come at different times. They're rarely planned. And so hopefully those players that get the opportunity can take advantage of it and do what they can and be ready to help the football team.
Steve Lehman.
I guess sort of along the same lines, Mike, do you feel that the entire team is somewhat galvanized by this experience? And I don't know if it feels like they have something to prove this week, but, you know, have come together in that regard?
I think so. I mean, again, I think that this is a close football team. I think that there's a lot of respect that goes on between each player and the players and the coaches, trying to work towards a common goal of winning. And so, you know, we all understand that we have a job to do. And this is the circumstances that we've been presented with.
Kyle.
Yeah, my question was asked, but I'll follow up anyway. And you have sort of hit on this, but I wondered more specifically, you know, there've been folks around the league who've kind of anonymously taken shots at the franchise, and some of them have had sort of bloodlust about what type of punishment you should get from the league. I wondered if you had any reaction to some of that.
I don't, Kyle. I really don't. I know that when I contact someone from the league, or John contacts someone from the league, they've tried to help us through this process and got us to this point to where everybody's excited to continue down this path and be ready to play a football game on Tuesday night. That's all I can tell you. I can't, you know, I'm sure that that this won't be the first time that somebody says something bad about, you know, us or one of our players or one of our coaches or me or our team. You know, we're very confident in the people that we have here in this building, and that the ones we get to come to work with every day.
Couple follow-ups, Teron.
Yeah, Coach, you see this offense has become very explosive. What are some of the things that have changed, especially now that they have Stephon Diggs in the lineup?
Well, they've got speed. They've got a lot of speed. They've got athletic tight ends. And then, you know, obviously the quarterback is playing at an elite level. You know, Josh got a huge arm. He's athletic. He's durable. You know, they run him, and he is you know, he's gaining yards when he runs. He's got great arm strength, and the thing that's really stood out the most this year has been his accuracy. I think he's at 70%. In his previous 2 years, he was at 58 and 52% accuracy. So that's where a lot, you know, scoring a lot of points. You know, a lot of credit to Brian Daboll for you know, developing and calling those games for Josh.
Jim.
Mike, I know this is kind of a fluid situation, but what kind of challenge do you face during the course of a practice week where, you know, you're trying to divide up reps, knowing some guys may play, some guys may not? I know it's usually like that, but potential for more practice squad guys being needed than usual.
You know, we just kind of write down every day who we have available, Jim, and what that game day roster may look like, and then try to allocate, you know, the reps accordingly to who needs them. And some guys may need them a little bit more than the others. But then also, you know, you're trying to put together, you know, a look team on the other side. And so, you know, for example, like Isaiah Wilson. Isaiah's going to come off of COVID IR, and he'll be out there and he'll start working. He'll be on that show team that can give us a look here in the next couple of days. And then we can also evaluate him for his ability to join in on that roster.
Paul.
Mike, setting aside the logistics of when the message about not having offsite gatherings was communicated and all of that, is it conceivable that the virus was transmitted amongst some of your guys at one of these events, and that some of the late positives resulted not from things that happened when the team was together at the facility in official functions?
I think that that's all part of the review. And again, we've been completely transparent, and we'll wait for their summary from the NFL, the NFLPA, before commenting.
All right, Coach, I think we ran through all the questions.
Okay.
I am still waiting on some of the players to come in.